This is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Double checks can make the impossible possible in a game of chess, just like magic. Have a look at this game. Now, this was a relatively quick game on Lichess. This was a 10+5 game of rapid. I played the Vienna Gambit, so e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, and f4 Vienna Gambit. My opponent declines the Vienna Gambit with d6. And those of you who follow my channel will know that the best response is to develop the other knight, potentially supporting a third pawn in the center. Now, my opponent here plays very aggressively. Bishop out to g4, ostensibly pinning my knight to the queen. This is not a good move, though, you know, it is quite spicy. It's not bad, but it's certainly not optimal. Now, I ignore that bishop and I develop my own bishop. Stockfish calls this a relative inaccuracy. However, one of the ideas of the Vienna Gambit is to immediately target the f7 pawn and potentially striking down the f-file, because after castling, the rook will be on the f-file. We can often open up the f-file by either capturing or being captured back, and this knight potentially attacks that square as well. So that's part of the logic here. The opponent now plays a slow waiting move with c6, and you can see that was considered a mistake because effectively I've won a point of tempo. So I now short castles. The rook is now also joined the party. My opponent now develops their bishop, and before they have the opportunity to castle and then so making this attack more difficult, I decide to do the bishop sacrifice. Bishop captures pawn on f7. Stockfish calls this a blunder. However, I think this audacious sacrifice is a interesting move. So thus the exclamation mark with the question mark. Stockfish never rates it this way in chess.com. I think that this isn't necessarily a blunder. And the reason for that is that it's only a blunder if black finds the right move. And if they don't find the right move, white has a massive advantage. Now, clearly they should capture, which is what they do. Now I open up the f-file by capturing, and here black has only one good move, which is bishop captures the knight. Now that seems a bit inhuman, doesn't it? Because that then allows the queen to capture back, forming a battery staring at the king. That looks terrible. But that is the only good move for black. The black can do sort of a second move where they maintain some advantage, queen to b6 with check, but any moves other than those two moves, I have a massive win. This pawn, attacking. What is the opponent going to do? They decided to do the sensible looking move, moving their knight out of the way. And here I now do what is seemingly impossible. Knight jumps forward, double check. Consider what just happened. That knight was ostensibly pinned to the queen. This square is defended twice over, and yet I'm able to safely jump out of the pin, jump into a square that's defended, and yet it's perfectly safe. And this is the power of double check, a very, very forcing move. And the thing with double check is that generally you can't capture the checking piece because there's two checking pieces. You can't block the check. Generally, because there's two checking pieces. And so here the king is forced to move. King moves to that square, which was probably a mistake. I now have the opportunity to take that bishop that dared try to pin my knight to the queen. And here there is actually a mate in one thread. The opponent doesn't see it, captures that seemingly hanging knight, checkmate. Good game, move 11, GG. The big takeaway from this game is to watch out for double checks. They are unexpected and devastating when sprung. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.